Today we're at the Molly Kathleen Gold Mine Tour in Cripple Creek, Colorado. Come and join us as we descend 1,000 feet underground and explore the history of gold mining in Colorado.
Look down there, you will notice the town of Cripple Creek, and you are going to be 600 feet below the town of Cripple Creek, which is marked in the shaft by a red light on the 400-foot level. Should be on the opposite side of the skip I'm going to load you on. Folks, as you're down there, we still have a lot of the mine railings, so watch where you're stepping. We don't want anybody to trip, and also when you look up, please hold on to your hard hat. That way it doesn't fall off and hit somebody else. Also, folks, there is many miles of underground workings here in this camp, so I do recommend keeping up with your tour guide, just due to the fact we don't want to lose anybody down there. Nothing to panic about though, folks. We ain't lost anybody since the last time.
Mom, take a picture of us. Thank you.
Watch your step coming out there. Folks, throw your hard hat back here.
Guys, now it looks like everybody. Alright, you guys, welcome to the Molly Kathleen Gold Mine. I'm Sarah, nice to meet you all. Now when we're down here walking, if I could have everybody walking in between these ore cart rails, that's just always the safest place. And then I always like to tell this, especially when there are younger ones on the tour. You guys, this isn't like an old museum. You're in an old gold mine right now. People used to be going to the bathroom spitting all over the ground out here. So I really don't care what you guys do, just make sure you stay with the tour, okay? You guys, unfortunately, you're gonna start noticing as we're going underground, it's not like you can come down here and start plucking gold nuggets off the side of the wall. All of our gold is microscopically dispersed. But that big mountain up there, they're about the 4th largest producer for gold. They always go in between 4th and 5th. Wow. So it just shows you, we're the 4th largest producer for gold in the world. It just takes a lot to get it out of the rock. When these guys first started down here, they had to hand drill out holes. Now the reason they're even drilling holes in the first place is to load those holes up with dynamite so they can blast all that rock out of there. You'd have to get 18 to 24 6-foot holes at a time. Now I'm going to tell you this right now. What you guys are walking through, this is called the crosscut of a gold mine. We have over 10,000 miles of this stuff under Cripple Creek and Victor alone. Yeah, and it's all been done 6 feet at a time. Now, they would start you off with the baby bull steel, and they would give you a graduated steel set until you had your 6-foot drill steel. Now, as soon as they got a foot into the rock wall, they're going to switch from 1 gentleman to 2 gentlemen drilling a 6-foot hole at a time. You guys are going to be happy this isn't your job. The striker's job, his job is to swing a 10-pound hammer all day, every day. Look at his buddy. Look where that drill steel sits, guys. This is before they ever had protective hard hats or anything like that. So they're swinging all day, every day. They are trying to hit something that big, sitting on their friend's shoulder, and they're doing all this by candlelight. So you can imagine, how often do you think they missed?
Once.
Yeah, right. We started using carbide right around 1915. They got carbide earlier this was invented earlier, but we only could afford it in about 1915. Now that's giving off a little bit brighter and whiter light, but honestly, guys, is that much improvement from candlelight?
Yeah.
Let's be happy we have electricity down here and we're not having to do what these poor boys had to do. Now, one of the toughest jobs you could have down here was hand mucking. We still try to avoid this at all costs, but you have to do it sometimes. It's just shoveling, you guys. They would pay you, like I said, about $3 a day, but you had to meet a quota. You had to fill up one of these ore buckets every single hour, and if you couldn't do that, you were automatically fired, because they had people up on the surface just waiting for anybody to get fired so they could come down here and start making a whopping $3 a day. You know what I'm talking about? Now, the only reason we like to bring him up is because he's one of the only famous people that came from our area, but he always gives you a very good idea just how tough hand mucking was. Before Jack was ever a boxer, he kept getting fired from the underground mines down here. Wasn't fast enough or strong enough. He couldn't keep up with the other hand muckers, so he went off and tried boxing. And within 2 years, he was the heavyweight in the world. So now this little guy, we started adopting our piston air drill, same time we get all our steam lines, same time we get that rocker shovel we were just playing with. But anyway, remember that hand drilling method? It would take 2 gentlemen anywhere from 10 to 20 hours to do 1 6-foot hole. Now they could do it in about 15 minutes, guys. So imagine how nice your job would be One day they just showed up and said, hey, we got you one of these. Life would be pretty good at that point, right? Now I'm gonna show you, this guy's very, very noisy. You're gonna see how deaf these guys were, but yep, this is the first piston air drill we started using down here, so cover your ears on up, guys. It's a noisy little one. Nowadays we use ANFO, it's called, and that's what the big mine blasts with. And like I said, if you were here in the mornings, it really gives some people, because they usually go between 7 and 8 in the mornings, it'll really get to people if they're not used to the area. And actually, I'm gonna show you what it sounds like to be underground as they're doing a blast. We never give tours while the big mine does that blast.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, I'm underground though, already giving inspection. We don't even feel it down here. So that is a big old subwoofer in the corner, you guys. Now that's what a standard pattern blast sounds like. Nowadays it's more continuous, so it'll, but at the same time, that's exactly what I hear. Whereas when they first started down here, they were blasting this rock out 6 feet at a time. It would take them 20 hours, so they had to be very methodical to make sure they're bringing out the right ore, right? This is called purple fluorite. Now I know this probably doesn't look like much to you guys, but in our district, this is the pay dirt. So that was always the stuff they're chasing. Now I'm gonna bust everybody's bubble right now. For every 1 ton of rock in this district we've produced for the last 130 years, we're lucky to get about a dime size to a quarter size piece of gold out of an entire ton produced.
Wow.
So, right, you really have to work to get it out of here, but they noticed that purple stuff was always paying the best. How old do you think they started boys down here?
12.
7.
7?
7 years old, you guys. Mom and dad would kick you out the door, expect you to bring home
You've been
50.
working.
Well, girls, we got lucky. High five. Have you guys ever heard, like, on pirate ships, they considered women to be bad luck? It's the same thing down here.
Oh, thank God.
Women never came underground until the 50s or
Nice.
60s because we were considered bad luck by all
That's
you boys.
fine.
I think we thought so too. Yep, if you want to check out the slusher, get closer. Just a super simple way to push all that stuff around. I don't know if you guys have heard of silicosis of the lungs, but if you're dry drilling above your head and you're breathing in rock dust all day, we have silica in our hard rock granite. It's not good for your lungs, guys. Now they started using, these are called jack tanks. Jack tanks, they're gonna use pressurized water and shoot that water up through the drill bit steel.
Daddy didn't raise no fool, wouldn't let her date a boy till he taught her how to shoot.
I'll hold you in place here. Be careful, that's a little swivelly seat. See how strong those legs are. You guys made this look easy. We take this almost every morning for an inspection. This is the deepest part you will ever see on the gold mine tour. Now this was the toughest mining you could do back in the day. Now, did anyone hear bells up on the surface?
No.
If you guys heard bells going off, you heard our system of communicating then. So that skip that we came down in, that's not like a regular elevator, you guys. There's a gentleman up on the surface. He controls the way we go up and down. That's our hoist operator. This is how we tell him what to do. So like right now, I need our skip to come and get us. This is called the call bell. I'm just gonna ring a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, up on the surface, this is what he heard and saw. 2 minutes. So, if he couldn't hear the bells going off, he could always count flashes of light. But that 2.5 lets him know, hey, we're on the 10 level and we need a pickup. Anytime you hear these sequences of numbers, we're telling the hoist operator what to do with that skip. So you kind of know what's going on now, but system's been used for about 115 years now. So. Yep, if we ever have to bring stuff up to the surface, we'll sometimes put it down there. Alrighty, well thanks for coming in today, guys. I hope everybody drives safe on the way out.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray.